The phenomenal all-pro receiving tandem, Tim Brown, best in Raider history, and ageless Jerry Rice, arguably the best at his position in NFL history. The kickoff coming up. A beautiful day, close to 60,000 here. Dick Enberg with Dan Deerdorf. What's in store?
Well, you mentioned the devastating loss to Cleveland for Tennessee, Dick. How are they going to recover from that? Jeff Fisher says the mindset of this team isn't great. Obviously, the Raiders, undefeated, well-rested, at home, and if you looked at their first two wins, they're doing everything, and I mean everything, very well.
Raiders #1 offense in the NFL, and Janikowski, the Polish cannon, booms one deep into the end zone where Eddie Berlin takes the knee, and Tennessee goes on the attack at their own 20-yard line. Steve McNair, the veteran quarterback from Alcorn State, has a string of 16 consecutive games with a touchdown pass off to a 5-touchdown, 2-interception start. Those are his numbers, modest, only 107 yards passing in that loss to Cleveland in overtime last week at home when the Titans had a 2-touchdown lead with 5 minutes left. Crowd comes alive as McNair sets him up at the 20. Comes out throwing. Deep pattern, and it's intercepted. They go after the rookie Philip Buchanan, and Buchanan in his first start, the Raiders' #1 draft pick, has the interception.
Well, obviously, Dick, a decision by Steve McNair to throw this up there and let Kevin Dyson try to make the play regardless of how well he is covered, because Buchanan had textbook coverage right from the line of scrimmage. He had him inside out. There is no way that Kevin Dyson can go up and make that play. That's a risky way to start a football game, and what a magnificent, colossal backfire.
And Buchanan, the #1 pick out of Miami of Florida, shows why he was so highly touted, playing for the injured Charles Woodson, and his coverage was perfect on Dyson. So the Raiders start in Tennessee territory at the 46-yard line. Boy, home crowd, everyone raring to cheer as it is. At Jeff Fisher over to talk with Bob McElwee in the white hat, the referee today.
Is challenging the ruling on the field that it is an interception.
With a pass play, you don't have possession. So they're saying you have to hit the ground and keep possession of the football. Hitting the ground and having the ball come loose under the interpretation of the rules in the NFL is an incomplete pass, or in this case, an interception.
Meanwhile, Buchanan paying dividends. He's part of that John Gruden trade when Gruden went to Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers unloaded their drafts to Oakland. Buchanan was their #1 pick.
After reviewing the play, the intercepting player fails to keep possession throughout the play. It is an incomplete pass.
Well,
Tennessee is not charged with a timeout. It's 2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line.
I think Bob McElwee did exactly what he had to do. You must hit the ground and keep possession of the football for it to be either an interception or a reception. And in this case, Philip Buchanan, because I think of Dyson landing right on top of him.
Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
And he had help, obviously, from his coaches upstairs to say, challenge it.
How badly did they need that?
Oh, and how about the Raiders? You can imagine their memory doesn't have to be long to go back to New England in the snow, and many fans and players can't quite digest that loss to New England that may have cost them a Super Bowl. So a second chance for Tennessee. And there's a false start against the tight end. Frank Wycheck.
False start, 89 offense. 5 yards, 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down and 15. Let's check the Titans as they start on offense with Steve McNair. Here are the blockers. Hopkins, Pillar, DiNapoli. For Bruce Matthews retired, Olsen and Miller. And in the backfield for Tennessee, Eddie George. perennial All-Pro. Camella, the former Giants, the blocker. Mason and Dyson outside, and Wycheck, a Pro Bowler at tight end. 2nd and 15 from the 15. McNair under pressure. Wobbly pass going to be intercepted by Rod Woodson. And the veteran Woodson, who has 10 touchdowns with interceptions, picks off another to add to his incredible mark. Has 62 in his career.
Well, and none of them easier than this. Steve McNair is going to get hit in the act of throwing. He tries to step up, tries to find something, and his arm gets struck just as he's trying to throw it. Looked like Sam Adams. Yep, it is Sam Adams who interferes. And look at that thing straight up in the air. I'll guarantee you those 62, Dick, none of them for Rod Woodson were easier than that.
Woodson's first as a Raider, leading active player in interceptions.
Well, Big Sam Adams signed only back in mid-August, pays his first really big dividend.
Gannon underneath. And it's a running back, Charlie Garner, for a touchdown. Oh my, that didn't take long. "17 yards on the touchdown to Garner, the running back."
Well, no surprise that the Raiders opened right up throwing the football, running everybody deep. Charlie Garner runs about a 2-yard crossing pattern. And is there any quarterback in football hitting that short route better than Rich Gannon?
Janikowski adds the extra point. The Raiders had not scored a point in the first half against the Titans in the last 3 games. It took them only a matter of seconds to score today as we go to New York for this update. And one of the hottest and another great game, and a very important overtime. That seems as if Cleveland, is that in the contract?
There's a lot of entertainment value with the Cleveland Browns so far this season.
And so with a 7-0 lead, only 21 seconds into the game, it'll be Janikowski kicking off again to John Simon and Eddie Berlin. And we welcome those of you who have been watching Houston and Philadelphia. We're at the Oakland Coliseum, the Eagles beating the young Texans 35-17. Well, for the Raiders, with only 21 seconds gone in this game, they've taken a 7-0 lead as Rod Woodson with an interception and a first play touchdown pass from Rich Gannon to Charlie Garner. John Simon cannot take it out as Janikowski roots it deep again. So the game started. The first play, McNair intercepted, it appeared, but they overruled that on a challenge. And here's the first and only play for the Raiders. Garner underneath from Gannon.
Well, it was just textbook that they ran the secondary deep, and then Charlie Garner, such a gifted receiver. That's his second receiving touchdown of the season in this young season. Remember, the Raiders were off last week. The 7-second scoring drives are always a good thing.
Steve McNair, deafening noise here at the Coliseum in Oakland. The Raiders appear to be offside. Eddie George, a gain of 1, and we'll check the flag. Eric Barton made the tackle.
First down.
5 yards in the penalty. A check of the Raiders' starting defensive alignment. DeLawrence Grant ticketed on that offside. Big Sam Adams and John Perella, 2 acquisitions, join Tony Bryant. It's Romanowski, Harris the rookie, and Barton the linebackers. Buchanan almost an interception in his first start. Torrey James at the corners with Gibson and Rod Woodson. And Woodson with his 62nd interception in his career to set up the Raiders score as Eddie George close to a first down at the 29-yard line. Eddie George, 300 carries, 6 straight years. Some are wondering just how much that's taken out of this great back from Ohio State.
Well, less than a 3 yard per rush average so far this season, Dick, at 2.8. And Eddie George is the figurehead of this franchise. They are a smash-mouth football team that has been their moniker over the years. If they don't get back to that, I think they're in big trouble.
2nd and 1. George tries this side. It has a blocker and into the infield dirt. Oakland A's, of course, on their way to the playoffs. This is their home field. It's a first down at the 34. We asked George in our meeting yesterday, this
against the Raiders in the past.
Averaged 146 yards in the last 3 games against Oakland.
Against Cleveland last week, though, he only had 59 on 23 carries.
Barely got the play off, and McNair somehow gets out of it and is able to throw it away and save a big loss.
Sam Adams had him wrapped up, and that is where the real physical presence of Steve McNair shows itself. Even as big as Sam.
George to the 35-yard line, a gain of only a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Bryant and Adams in on the stop. And joining us as well here in Oakland, down on the field, here's Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, Phillip Buchanan may have had that interception turned back, but talk about a kid who's cool as a cucumber. I talked to him before the game, and if his bloodlines are any indication of his future success, guess who his cousin is? Defensive end Javon Curse for the Titans, who didn't make the trip because he's hurt. But he talked to him during the week, and Javon gave him some good advice. He said, just do what you do best. I guess the kid can listen too, huh?
That's right. Some good bloodlines there. Curse will perhaps join Tennessee at midseason. Throw underneath is complete to the tight end. No, it's Drew Bennett, the wide receiver from UCLA, hit immediately by Terran Shaw, the extra defensive back in the Raider secondary, and that will not be enough for a first down. On comes Craig Hentrick and the Tennessee punting team.
Well, Dick, actually, both those guys are playing because of superstars sitting this one. Javon Curse isn't playing. And Buchanan is starting because Charles Woodson, the corner for the Raiders, who broke his shoulder a couple weeks ago, is going to be out for another 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why Buchanan's getting to start over there at the left corner spot. So a couple of the game's big players not here today.
Hendrick sends a wobbler toward Buchanan at the 18. Oh, he's in the open.
See ya.
Nobody's going to catch Phillip Buchanan. And what a debut for this kid from Miami. Yards, and it's 13-0.
It's not often that a team suffers a loss that hurts as much as what happened to the Titans last week. A little over 5 minutes to go, a 14-point lead against Cleveland, and they lose. The questions all week, how are they going to respond from that devastating loss? Might be too early to jump to conclusions, but Dick, it doesn't appear that they've gotten over it.
Janikowski adds the extra point. Good job by Leckler in setting it up. And Jeff Fisher sees his team down by 2 touchdowns, and we have not as yet played 4 minutes in the game.
I mentioned Charles Woodson, the Heisman Trophy winner from Michigan. First game since high school that he hasn't been able to play. They said his injury about a 6-week injury, so we'll see. Well, take a look at this. Starts to the sideline. And that's just no contest. Craig Hentrick, the punter, he tries to get over there and wave. Maybe he should have dove for him, but that's with 10 yards in either direction. No punter is going to get Phillip Buchanan.
Well, he was quite
how about this?
He was quite a baseball player in high school, and it's like an inside-the-park home run for Phillip Buchanan.
And actually, that's kind of like watching John Gruden run for a touchdown.
Yes.
Because Phillip Buchanan was a little tug on the jersey right there. But Phillip Buchanan was drafted with one of the draft choices that the Oakland Raiders got from Tampa Bay. With John Gruden going to Tampa Bay, the Raiders received 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and one of those number 1s produced Phillip Buchanan. So paying off early.
14-0 in Buchanan's debut as a starter. Janikowski won't give the Titans a chance to return one. Eddie Berlin kneels. It'll be at the 20 for McNair. It'll go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Dick, the Steelers and
The start of this season, Dan, the overtime games, and how many have come right down to that final play. This one doesn't start that way. Doesn't hint of that sort of conclusion. Working in the enemy field, down 14-0 early. Let's see what McNair and the Titans can do.
Well, they better do something.
McNair throws it away, and welcome those of you who have seen that overtime game.
That's got to be intentional grounding. He was between the tackles.
As the Steelers and the Cleveland Browns go overtime, the Steelers win, and here the start for the Oakland Raiders, who are off a bye week and won their first 2 games, has just been stunning in terms of what has happened to Tennessee.
Intentional grounding, number 9 offense. Loss of down. The ball stays at the spot of the foul.
Steve McNair did not leave the tackle box, and then on his way down, obviously, in an attempt to avoid a sack, just throws it away, no one near, not back to the line of scrimmage. And oh, what Jeff Fisher wouldn't give to take his team back up the tunnel, come out for introductions, and try to start this again.
The Raiders have had only 1 offensive play, and they lead 14-0. Second and long. McNair dumps it off to George, and George attracts a sea of black jerseys, able to wiggle out across the 10-yard line, and veteran Bill Romanowski makes the tackle. For those of you just joining us, the interception by Rod Woodson to the Tennessee 17, first play, Gannon to garner touchdown. Then they stop Tennessee, and the kick by Craig Hendrick goes to Philip Buchanan, the rookie from Miami, takes it 83 yards for a touchdown, 14-0. Welcome those of you who have been watching the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs. Another high-scoring effort by Kansas City. Flag down as Eddie George takes the pass from McNair, far short of a first down. We'll check the penalty. Rod Woodson makes the tackle on George. Dick Enberg, Dan Dierdorf, Bonnie Bernstein here at the Oakland Coliseum as the Oakland Raiders jump out to a 14-0 lead. Everything right for the Raiders.
Illegal formation, number 72. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Brad Hopkins, the left tackle, with the penalty. Tennessee will kick it again. The last time Hendrick sent it in the air, the rookie Buchanan took it at his 17, and there he is again and raced untouched. 83 yards for a touchdown.
Tennessee right now, Dick, shell-shocked is the only word that comes to mind. These guys have to be as wide-eyed as a group of professionals could possibly be.
Hendrick sends up a high spiral. Buchanan drifting on the infield dirt to the 26, back to the 25, reverses it, and here they go again. Terry Kirby. Kirby's in the open, and the Raiders are going to lead 21-0, and have only had 1 offensive play from scrimmage. My, oh my.
Well, I thought there was a blatant block in the back to spring that run, and it wasn't called. This is mind-numbing for Tennessee. Watch the block. It's going to come in from the right side. Well, in the reverse. There goes the reverse. Right there. I think that's number 56, Travion Smith, from behind. And how that didn't get called, I have no idea whatsoever.
That was in the open, but it was not flagged, and so Janikowski for the extra point and a 21-0 early lead. Unbelievable.
Well, the folks in Tennessee got to be upset about that one. A blatant block from behind springs Kirby for a 6-pointer. Guy on that set, though.
You know, they're all skilled players. They look at them. They're all good-looking and thin, and those suits fit them so well. And
nice knots on their ties. You notice how they're right up there. You don't see any collar.
I need a little pork on that set.
First and goal from the 10.
I'm not lobbying for a job. I like it here.
Gannon fires, complete, touchdown, Jerry Rice. That's almost unfair. Jerry Rice, with all his savvy, working against the rookie from Wisconsin, Mike Eccles. Welcome to the league, Michael.
And it happens right in front of the black hole down there in front of the Raiders faithful. What a perfectly thrown ball by Rich Gannon, and it comes at a point right at the corner with the timing is such that Eccles never does get a chance to turn around. By the time he locates the ball, it's going over his shoulder right into Jerry Rice's hands.
197 touchdowns for Rice. Janikowski with the extra point, and with less than a minute remaining in the half, it's 31-7. For the Raiders, and Rice with a 10-yard touchdown reception.
And Dick, I know I love the history of the game and the guys who played this game before, but how nice a moment was this after Jerry Rice's touchdown. Who does he hug? That's Fred Biletnikoff, the Hall of Fame Raider receiver who is the wide receiver coach. And there's Fred and Jerry, and just greatness complementing greatness.
Old number 25. He caught nearly 600 passes on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Had those blonde locks flowing out the back of that helmet, didn't he?
Janikowski will have to be massaging that left leg of his. He's had plenty of chances to kick off. John Simon. And he can't get back to the 20-yard line. Tackled at the 19. He really has him disciplined. He's so well organized. Almost intercepted, and guess who? Rod Woodson right there, jumping the pattern. He is so smart. Derek Mason.
Initially looked like it either hit Woodson right on the hands or right in the chest. There's Woodson right in the middle of the picture. See, it gets deflected. Yeah, and changed the course of the ball. Actually, that would have been almost impossible for Woodson to come up with that thing. Derek Mason just altered the ball enough that it took it out of Woodson's grasp.
On 2nd and 10, McNair under pressure, steps away, throws incomplete, intercepted this time.
I don't believe it.
Can you believe Rod Woodson is going to score another touchdown? And this will make his NFL record 11 touchdowns by interception. Rod Woodson.
And up into the black hole he goes. And again, you know, Dick, I'm back to the old, why are some players in the right place at the right time? It's a deflected ball. Now McNair does a great job. He throws it to Wycheck, but it bounces. But
there it is again.
Is just standing there, and the ball comes right to him like some kind of a dust magnet. Only it's a football magnet. It's just truly remarkable how great players, things like that happen to them. You're back to the old, the wind is behind the best sailor. Well, the wind is behind Rod Woodson today.
Janikowski with the extra point. Not only has Woodson extended his NFL record, 11 interception returns for touchdown, he now has returned for more yards than anyone in history.
This college football, thinking the guy was down on the ground.
Jerry Porter able to make that reception, and he has been called the most improved of the Raiders, and it takes 8-9 Titans to stop him. He's a big guy, 6'2" and 220. Wide receiver from West Virginia. 25 yards for him on the play.
Well, the question right now, just think of some of the scenarios here, Dick. If Tennessee would have kicked extra points after those touchdowns, we'd have a 38-28 ball game. Just a touchdown and a field goal. If they would have converted all three of the two-point conversions, we'd have a one-possession game. We'd be 38-31. The question now is, can the Raiders stop making silly mistakes and letting Tennessee back in this game?
Underneath to Rice, and Rice on that play has the 10 yards, and that is a historic catch. That 10 yards pushes him past Walter Payton. No one in the history of the National Football League has gained more yards from scrimmage than number 80, Jerry Rice.
And kind of emblematic of his entire career. Just a little hook right over the middle, gets hit by a couple guys, takes a beating for the catch. And there you see it, by two, Jerry Rice.
All the rest of them are rushers, men who have rushed the ball, caught it out of the backfield. Here's a man, primarily all of his yards, catching passes, a few on reverses and rushes, but What a great PK.
Well, it's Central Michigan would be BYA.
Oh, come on. Oh, boy. Now,
Chippewas,
the whole Chippewa Nation is going to be after you. Gannon again. First man covered, so he goes to the tight end, Roland Williams. And Williams lurches forward for a first down, I believe. Godfrey at 18. Now the run. Garner. He's rejected. A second time. And Marshall for him. Edger and James have gained more yards from scrimmage than Garner the last 3 years. Wide open is Jerry Porter, and he has his second touchdown of the season. And is 6'2". He's big enough to leap the wall here at the Coliseum. They're singing here in Oakland as Gannon fires to the wide open Garner, and a first down at the Tennessee 41.
It appears that the Raiders are wanting 50. They're not going to sit down and just run out the clock. Rich Gannon is still under center, and he's throwing to his stars, and they're not just going to hand it off to Charles Wheatley and try to run it away.
Garner with 60 yards and 6 catches, 58 more rushing. Quick throw right on the money to Tim Brown. And Brown gets a block, and he's free. Touchdown, Raiders. The greatest ever Raider without a Super Bowl appearance, Tim Brown. He's motivated in more ways than one.
And who do you think gives him a block out front? You want to guess Jerry Rice?
I'll guess that.
That would be a very good guess. That touchdown was because Jerry Rice makes the block for his teammate. And Freddie Biletnikoff patting them both on the back. There's one of the best guys that ever played in this league, Fred Biletnikoff, one of the most beloved guys in the Hall of Fame. And what a thrill it has to be for him. There's Jerry out front. Look at that. Timmy Brown breaks to the sideline. Dyson was tied up long enough by Jerry Rice. Wow.
Well, and with that score is Keith Bullock shaken up a bit, but runs off the field. Janikowski's try for point, if successful, will tie the Raider record for most points in a game. Surprisingly, 52. I would have thought it was higher than that, but they're going to equal 1963, 52 against Houston, and 2 years ago, 52 against Carolina, and this is for 52.
But Dick, isn't this a beautiful thing? And I'm sorry for Tennessee, but we're getting to watch Jerry Rice and Tim Brown do the things they do. I'm privileged to be here.
Oh my. The Raiders tying the time scoring mark. It's been a day for the record book as Rod Woodson has extended his touchdowns by interception mark, returning his 11th interception for a touchdown to pad his record. Jerry Rice has moved ahead of the immortal Walter Payton, most yards from scrimmage, and now Bill Callahan's first team has tied the scoring mark for a single game in Raider history. This is a very, very good team. And Rich Gannon, such a solid game with all the other superstars in this team. You sometimes overlook Gannon. He's got 4 touchdowns and 381 yards passing today.
In this game, there's Hall of Famer Jim Otto, and all of us who loved the game saddened by the passing of Mike Webster. Lots of problems away from the game, and I saw one of the Steelers who said maybe finally Mike's in peace, and I hope that's the case.
Only 50.
Yeah. Well, folks, are right back to Nashville, Dick, for these guys.
Yeah, they're 1-3, but Jeff Fisher will remind his team that the Patriots were 1-3 a year ago. And meanwhile, Bill Callahan has this high-energy offense with a veteran and tough defense. And the Oakland Raiders are out of the gate 3-0. Watch out, NFL. A final score of 52-25 in a game that Jerry Rice breaks through Walter Payton, becoming the all-time producer of yardage from scrimmage in the history of the National Football League. For Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, this is Dick Enberg. Thank you for being with us on a beautiful day on the east side of the bay.